pioneer, to engineer, to innovate, to imagine, to fly, to serve. Today, tomorrow.
Can we pretend that air?
Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Groupie and we are going to conduct an interview in British Airways.
Airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars. I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Yeah, I could use a dream or a genie or a wish to go back to a place much simpler than this. Cause after all the partying and smashing and crashing and all the glitz and the glam and the
who is the head? Keith Williams is our head CEO now of British Airways. What are the flight schedules? Local, we don't have a flight in the Philippines. What do you mean by local? Manila? Philippines? Okay, wala kaming flight dito. We temporarily suspended our operations in 2003. Pero we started flying to Manila in 1980.
Why did you suspend it?
We suspended it due to commercial reasons. Yeah. Pero it's suspension lang naman. It's not yet terminating the agreement. It's just suspension at the moment because now of commercial reasons.
About policy on flight schedules.
What do you mean by policy? Kasi if you, I don't know if it was mentioned to you, when we do flights, it has to be, especially when a different country. British Airways is a British company. It is, you could say it's the flag carrier of the United Kingdom, the same way Philippine Airlines is the flag carrier of the Philippines. Every time British Airways applies to fly to another country, let's say to Manila, it has to have a government-to-government agreement. Bilateral ang tawag yan. For us to land in the Philippines, it has to be agreed by, we have to be allowed by the Philippine government. The same way Philippine Airlines flies to London, it has to be agreed on by or approved by the government of the United Kingdom. So, bilateral yan. The same way that PAL goes to America, marami din dito like Delta Airlines. It's always a country-to-country agreement. Kung wala kayong agreement with the country, hindi ka makakalipad din. Okay? So it always has to go by flight schedules. Like international, I can say that international means from London because yes. British Airways, ang hub niya, ang pinaka-home niya is in the UK, which is London. From London, how many flights do we have
from other countries
to the other countries? Yes. We service 78 countries. Okay, we serve in the 78 countries. We handle about 300 destinations, 300 cities. The international routes, yun. Domestic in the UK, meaning to say domestic sa amin kasi is from London to the domestic areas like UK. UK lang, kasi domestic din yun eh. Meron din kami, I'm not too sure how many destinations. Konti lang yun, siguro mga 20, yes, 20. Kasi maliit lang yung United Kingdom eh. I know from London it's maybe 1,000 flights. I don't know, huh? Kasi it goes out, it goes in. Kasi at the moment, let's say an example, like London, New York, we have 9 flights a day going from London to New York. So 9 din yan ang pabalik. So that's 18 flights na a day. Just for London, New York alone. Eh, yung mga iba pa, London, Paris is also about 6 flights din. Papunta, 6 flights.
In Asia, do you have a flight?
Not from Manila, but we have Singapore, London.
Singapore.
We have
it is a
Hong Kong,
connecting
London.
flight?
No, it's non-stop.
Non-stop.
From Singapore to London, Hong Kong to London,
Other.
Beijing to London, Tokyo to London, yun, Korea, Seoul to London. Lahat yan non-stop. Walang stops in between. Okay?
Excuse me, may I ask, what position are you in this company?
I'm the marketing manager for the Philippines.
Okay. So this question, I think, belongs to you personally. What makes your airlines different from other airline companies?
We are the best.
Oh.
Hindi. Siyempre biased yun. That's a biased ano. What makes us different? Maybe, I will tell you, all the airplanes, there are two. Ano lang yan eh, Airbus or Boeing. Dalawa lang yan ang gumagawa ng aeroplano. Boeing is based in Seattle in America. Airbus is European, that's based in France. Dalawa lang yan ang gumagawa ng mga malalaking commercial passenger planes. Ang aeroplano, pare-parehong itsura niyan. Okay? When Boeing makes it, when Airbus makes it, they all have the same engines, they all have the same. What makes it different? What makes Philippine Airlines, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, what makes it different from each other? Siyempre, binibihisan nila yung aeroplano. Okay? So, they have their own first class, they have their own business class on how they change it, on how they fix the airplane. Okay? But for me, the most important in an airline is the people. Okay? With the people comes service. Okay? Maganda nga yung aeroplano mo, maganda yung mga upuan mo, pangit yung service mo, bali wala. Diba? So that is what makes each airline different from another. It's their products, or what we call our brands. Branding din yan eh. British Airways is a brand. Cathay Pacific is a brand. What are their products? First class, business class, economy, premium economy. Yun ang mga products. You have your frequent flyer programs. Kanya-kanya yung frequent flyer programs. Kanya-kanya din yung mga marami yan eh. It involves also mga lounge. Pagandahan din yan ng lounge. Pagandahan din ng catering sa pagkain ng the plane. And the service at the airport. So it's a total experience eh. It's a total package, kumbaga. So what makes us different? I guess we have good customer service, we have good products, and network. What is also important is your network. Gaano kalaki ang lawak ng, how far are your flights going? Do you cover the world? Do you cover only Asia? Do you cover only America? See? So the bigger you are, the more global you are. So that's how different each airline is from another.
Can we ask, what are the new services that you offer here?
In what terms?
Some of new services like advanced.
Look at travel nowadays. People are very sophisticated in a way, modern. So you make it simpler because more and more travelers, you can say 100%, siguro more than 50% are business travelers. Ang business travelers kasi yan, every month, every week, nagta-travel yan sila eh. While leisure, right, vacations, once a year. Once a year, in family, they travel once a year. But what you can do is make travel far and smoother, more convenient and flexible and quicker, nonetheless stress on the airport. Yes.
Do you offer private flights?
We're a big airline, no. We don't. Private planes, no. There are small companies that do that eh. Yung mga charter. Yes. Charters, yes. British Airways doesn't charter. The only
What service? In case of delayed flights, how does the airlines deals with the passengers?
We have a standard procedure for delays. There are different kinds of delays. Eh. Weather, natural calamity. Second, technical, which has something to do with the airplane. Third, it also something to do with the airport. Kasi minsan nagba-brown out ang airport. So, paano, sometimes may mga technical glitches din ang airport. So, it depends. If the delay is just 3 to 4 hours, then we take care of the passengers in the airport. Maybe if they should need a meal, then we serve meals. If they really have to, but normally, ano lang yan, if stay in the airport, the maximum siguro 4 hours na delay. Beyond that, if we really cannot fix the plane or there's really something, I'm talking of yun nga, the natural causes and the technical. Natural causes, the airline has no responsibility to the passengers if they are not yet checked in. Okay? Ang ano lang, if it's BA or the airline's fault, then we have to take care of our passengers. So if the plane, kunyari nasira na siya talagang cannot be fixed in the next 4 or 5 hours, normally we billet the passengers in hotels. We take care of them, meals, etc. But that's very seldom naman unless really may delay. Weather, sometimes because of weather, like cancel the flight. If we know in advance that the flight is going to be cancelled because of weather, then we inform the passengers. That's why now it's very important when we do bookings or even if you do online bookings, the contact of the passenger is already asked. Either email, mobile, or home number. Hinihingi na yan. Para just in case we need to contact the passenger, madali. So, mga ganyan. There is a standard procedure naman. Different scenarios, different procedures. Yeah.
Do you have special treatments to the disabled people?
Yes, of course. We have for the disabled, they get priority in boarding. Different na, may elderly. We also have assistance for the blind, for the hearing impaired. All ano naman, disabilities are being addressed.
What is the biggest aircraft of the British Airways?
The newest one now,
Yes,
which is the A380. Yeah, that's the A380, which was 400. A380, like an Airbus. That's the biggest one now, which most of the airlines have. So BA has it also, and that's the one that flies to our Hong Kong airport.
How many
How many
passengers?
467. I'll give this to you. This is the one. That's a A380.
And
That's what we call the double deck. It's passengers here all the way. Tapos may second seat din siya. It was 55. Ano po, 467 yan eh. I'm not too sure. 467 yan. Seats.
Ma'am, how about the small carrier? The smallest carrier.
The smallest we have now.
Aircraft.
The smallest we have is the one that like the one that PAL has, the 737, which is only used for domestic and short flights.
Only in
Europe and UK. I think London Paris is only 1 hour by flight. London Rome is only 2 hours. So pwede siyang ganun. Although we do have next to the Airbus 380, the A380, we have the newest plane now which Boeing just recently launched. It's called the 787 is what they call the Dreamliner because it's they call it the Dreamliner now because it's fuel efficient, it's sound efficient. Okay.
Let's proceed, ma'am, to the hiring of your crews and attendants. What is your mostly the requirements?
Okay, I don't have the requirements here for cabin crew.
But the basic requirements, ma'am.
Number one, at the moment, because British Airways, the hiring is done in London. All for cabin crew, for stewardesses. It's there, not here.
They allowed other foreign
Unfortunately not. They allow only, I know they hire in Hong Kong for the Hong Kong-London flights because Hong Kong is a big hub of British Airways. They
Here,
also
in Asia.
in Asia, they also hire the Japanese, but very little, not and Hong Kong and China that they hire. But other than that, all applications are done in London. And they will not like Pacific that they hire Filipinos and then they take care of their work permits. The UK will not take care of them. So, yun lang.
About the flights, what is the longest flights? Hour flights.
An airplane kasi, the range, it depends kasi on the kind of aircraft which we call long range. A Hong Kong-London flight is about 15 hours non-stop. Yun. Siguro I would say that would be the longest. Between 14 to 15 hours.
And how about the shortest?
The shortest normally is domestic. Yung mga 45 minutes, like here. Ay, pinaka-minimum na nga yun eh. Normally 1 hour talaga. Longest is 15 na non-stop.
I'm just curious. As a marketing manager, how do you promote British Airways to us as passengers? How can we?
Okay, first of all, we can say that in the airline industry, it's a very competitive industry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as I said, all airplanes are made the same. They all have the same model. How do I promote? First, we promote our products, which is, you have to be proud of your product. So, as marketing is heavy on brands. Okay, so our brands are, of course, our seats, our cabin, which we call. So, our first class, which is our seat. Okay, so that's the first class seat. Wherein it's a bed. It's 6 feet 6 inches long. Na nagpa-flat bed. And it's individual seat. Wala siyang katabi. Individual kayo. Okay? And we only have 14 seats in first class. Okay? Next to that would be our Club World. That's our brand, Club World, but it's business class. It stands for business class. So, those are the seats also. Ano rin siya? Flat bed din. 6 feet naman siya. Kahaba. And then, per brand, it goes with all its amenities. Okay? Every single brand has its own amenities. It has its own catering. It has its own lounge, bars, and mga lounge. No, these are on ground. Oo. But on board, then you have your catering. It's all here. What we have is served there. So where it's all listed here. And then of course we have the club in London City because we have another airport in London. It's London City.
It is only in the London or it's available.
All of this, all our planes, ganito ang itsura. So whether lumipad siya sa Hong Kong, sa London, sa Tokyo, sa wherever, ito yung brand namin. So all our first class, irregardless of what aircraft, basta British Airways, be it the 747, 777, the A380, or standard yung silya namin. Because that's what we call branding in marketing. Okay? So we promote our brand. Okay. When we say master brand, this is the master brand. Speedbird, this is what we call the mark. We have 2 airports there. That's Heathrow. Malaki siya. And then we have also another airport called Gatwick. And that's Gatwick Airport also. So we fly from 2 airports, but mainly Heathrow. And then we also have a smaller airport, which is London City Airport. Maliit lang yan. Kumbaga parang Clark. Okay. We also fly there. And of course, we have different lounges. Okay. Ang lounge namin, I think we were the first airline to have an arrivals lounge. Di ba naririnig nyo yung departure before you fly, may lounge. Pag business class ka, pag first class, you enter a lounge, it's free. For British Airways, when you land in Heathrow, dalawa lang yan eh, Heathrow and in New York. Pagdating mo, if you're first class or business class, you can go to the arrivals lounge. You can take a shower, You can have your breakfast, you can have your suits ironed before you go out of the airport. You need to go to a business meeting or whatever. That's why we have a lot of amenities for the businessman who really are your travelers. Okay? And of course, marketing sells online now. So online services like check-in there. Mobile, you have online check-in, you have destination guides, everything. And we have our frequent flyer program, just like where you can earn and you can redeem ticket. And of course, we are part of a One World Alliance.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's the end of our
anything.
interview.
I'll give you if you need anything.
So much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
that.
do a good presentation, magpa-present kayo.
Yes, ma'am.
So do a good presentation, and I hope you will do British Airways justice.
Yes.
As I always,
Yes, we will.
with technology.
In that airplane in the night sky like shooting stars. I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Yeah. Somebody take me back to the days before this was a job, before I got paid, before it ever mattered what I had in my bank. Yeah, back when I was trying to get a tip at Subway, and back when I was rapping for the hell of it. But nowadays we rapping to stay relevant. I'm guessing that if we can make some wishes out of airplanes, then maybe, yo, maybe I go back to the days before the politics that we call the rap game. And back when ain't nobody listened to my mixtape. And back before I tried to cover up my slang. But this is for the data, what's up, Bobby Ray. So can I get a wish to end the politics and get back to the music that started this shit? So here I stand, and then again I say, I'm hoping we can make some wishes out of airplanes.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now, wish right now.